Welcome to Keto on the Couch, episode 152.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, say hi down below.
Now here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and then every Monday, we go live on Keto on the Couch. We just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time it's Monday, you'll be alerted to it.
Good morning.
Happy Monday, everybody.
We're going to go ahead and get that off of there.
What's the family doing today?
So it is Monday. It's a brand new Keto on the Couch. If you're new to our channel, new to Keto on the Couch, this is where we really celebrate subscribers. We like to go through comments from the previous week, mostly from last week's Keto on the Couch, and also our Facebook group. Answer questions, share subscriber stories. We encourage everybody to always share your story because it's going to motivate people, and just talk about a little bit what's going on in our week. Last week was really busy. Rachel went away for a couple of days.
I did. I went away, but it was good. I think I put an Instagram post up this morning talking about how I scheduled happiness. I think some of the obstacles to our commitment issues is a feeling of deprivation, not just in the food we eat, but do we take time for rest, for relaxation, for belly laughs? I think it actually helps us with our commitment issues.
Jean, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. Said good morning, everyone.
Good morning, precious friends.
So if you're new to our channel, the way we do Keto on the Couch is we're going to really go through Keto on the Couch. We do this live so that we don't have to spend 7 hours editing it. So we go through our normal Keto on the Couch, and then we get into the chat once we're done with all the comments and things. If there is something that you want to talk about based on the topic that we're currently discussing, like answering one of the comments, and you want us to talk about it right then and there, go ahead and use the super chat function down below. That'll highlight our screen just like Jean just did, and we will be able to answer it. But if you want to talk to us in general, you might want to wait until we're done because we're not going to see too much of the chat that's going on right now.
I see a nice compliment from Becca that said I look pretty today. Thank you
always
so
look
much.
pretty.
I appreciate it. We were just mentioning when we started our vlog for today, I had to do a Redmond facial mask when I got back from our trip to the Panhandle because the change in weather, when you go like 30 and then 80, and we're seeing a lot of those cold days in a hot day, it wrecks my skin.
Yeah.
And I have to have something to just kind of, help with that.
I do want to say, make sure you are subscribed to our channel and you've hit the bell notification because the vlog I'm going to be editing today, that'll come out probably tomorrow or Wednesday. It features Rachel going away with Michelle, but also Anthony did the cooking for me.
Amazing.
And it was amazing. So he's going to show you how to make a really good Mexican dish utilizing chuck roast, short ribs, and oxtail. And you can change up the meats a little bit, but oh my gosh, it was so good. So you're going to definitely want to wait for that video where Anthony is doing the cooking.
He's come so far. I remember when we would go camping and he always wanted to feed the family. And he would go out and fish, and it would be like these little pinfish. And you did such a great job as a dad just being like, we're going to have to fillet this mudfish basically and eat it because he's going to be heartbroken if he doesn't have this opportunity to feed the family. So now when he feeds the family, it's delicious, right?
So I wanted to mention we do have a sponsor for today. The sponsor is Perfect Keto.
Thanks, Perfect Keto.
Perfect Keto is having a Valentine's Day sale.
Aww.
I left the link down below, and when you use that link, you're going to get 25% off of your order. Perfect Keto are huge supporters of Two Crazy Ketos, so we really appreciate you guys for supporting the sponsors who support Two Crazy Ketos. If you're interested, with our favorite products from them is we like the MCT oil powder. We love their collagen. And then I love the NOLA bars and the
so in love
Malamunch
with them.
bars. Those are probably the things that I purchase the most from them. But they have some cool new products coming out, so you're definitely going to want to check some of that stuff out as it comes out. But yes, please, if you need to get some Perfect Keto items, use the link down below and support the sponsors who support Two Crazy Ketos. Also needed to mention this is back in stock.
I am not sad about that.
I'm glad, because this was like our last bag. I noticed one of the comments, someone's like, they had a bunch of bags. No, I wouldn't even open this bag. I opened it up the other day. It was
now
the
we have
end,
confidence.
and I would not open it until I knew there was more back in stock, because it is Rachel's favorite flavor. Till they get peanut butter and jelly.
I think caramel macchiato would still be my favorite flavor over peanut butter and jelly. You're the knucklehead that wants that.
There's a lot of people who want peanut butter and jelly. Come on, Miriam, let me do peanut butter and jelly. Let's make a peanut butter and jelly flavor keto chow. Everybody flood Keto Chow's email. Go message Miriam and say, we want peanut butter and grape jelly. Grape jelly.
Grape?
Yes.
No. Make good life choices. Strawberry jelly.
Let's get into Keto on the Couch. We're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. Now, this was an inspirational post that I found on our Facebook group. There's a link down below. Go join our Facebook group. If you're looking for community, if you're looking for family, if you're looking for people who can help you along in your keto journey, it is a great place. There's no keto police there. We don't have a whole bunch of promotions going on from other things. So it's a great place for support. And this week's Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week is...
Dun 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 dun!
It's Diana.
Thanks, Diana.
And we're going to make this so I can read that. Diana said, I try to read this when I'm struggling to stay on track. And it was a little meme. It says, the mind is so powerful. What we believe is what we manifest in our lives. So believe that you are valuable and worthy and strong and loved and joyful and brave and unique and powerful beyond measure.
Diana, I couldn't agree with you more. A lot of times we think that we can just love other people and love what we're doing, but not love ourselves. Like we could just skip that step, and you can't. You have to be aware that you are loved, and you have to love yourself. And I have this little, and it was like a $2.50 reminder this month, I'm loved. And once there's gas in that tank, then I can go out and do the things that I need to do.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, and again, something we always talk about is labeling ourselves. That's why we don't like using words like dirty keto or having a cheat meal or anything like that, because when you do that, you're labeling yourself, and you don't want to label yourself dirty or a cheater or anything like that. So let's get into this week's Subscriber of the Week. We have a couple of them.
Oh, hi, Charity's Tale.
First one we have is Maitreya.
Hey, Maitreya.
This one was really like eye-opening for me. Maitreya said an old picture came up in my memories, and I can hardly believe it was me. I had actually lost about 30 pounds at this time too, but I also have this picture from last month when I went to the office. So no more seizures, no more fatty liver, athletic, able to do stuff all day long, no more borderline diabetic, no more headaches for the last 2 weeks, not dead.
No, that last 4 weeks.
Not dead and not dying abnormally fast. Cancer still in remission. Plus, I lost weight as a side effect of going keto. 100% worth it. Wait till you see these pictures.
No way is that Maitreya. No way. Look at, wow.
Right?
Wow, Maitreya.
I was like, that's not her.
Thank you so much for posting that, because yes, I've only known Maitreya and seen Maitreya in person the right side.
Right.
So I had not seen that, but that is incredible. I mean, but the health results is so much even more mind-blowing. Cancer in remission, no more pre-diabetic, no more seizures. Like, how does that change your day-to-day life when you have that kind of trajectory change in your life?
Yeah.
That is incredible. Way to go.
Now, if you are new to our channel, the Subscriber of the Weeks are stories that we found on our Facebook group, or stories that people have messaged us at stories@twocrazyketos.com. And we always encourage you, please share your story just like that. You know, your story is so important. It's going to inspire someone. It's going to keep somebody going. It's going to motivate them, but it's also going to help you to remember where you came from. So when you get to that plateau, when you get to that point where like, I don't know if I can continue, you can look back at your story and be like, oh wait, I am so much better now than I was, and that's going to keep you going. So the next one is from Catherine.
Hey, Catherine.
Catherine said, this is my third major round of weight loss. The first time was Weight Watchers, started at 350, got down to 250, stalled
awesome.
and gained it back.
Oh.
I was training for a triathlon during that time and exercising up to 2 hours daily, mostly cardio. The second time I went paleo and was tracking my food via MyFitnessPal. Still calorie deficit based dieting. Started strength training at that time as well and was again training for a triathlon, but not quite as much intense cardio. Again, I lost about 100 pounds and I stalled out, had a hard time staying motivated once the triathlon was over. I held at about 275 for a few years, but then with the big C madness, I reverted to comfort eating.
Yeah.
I found myself weighing it at 365 pounds last year, and after much research, I started keto August of 2021. 6 months later, here I am. I still do strength training 2 to 3 times a week, yoga, tai chi 2 to 3 times a week,
Wow.
and daily walks, but no intense obsessive workouts. It's coming off a lot slower this time, but I don't feel frantic and deprived.
Yeah.
Also, other wonderful things are happening. Arthritis and acid reflux are almost gone. My
Wow.
skin and my hair look great, and my mood and my sleep patterns are much improved. This is sustainable.
I love that.
Which my previous efforts really were not. By the way, I'm 6 feet tall and 56 years old.
Oh, wow. You look fantastic.
Yeah.
Way to go.
And again, look around the midsection. Look at all of like the toning and the way things are changing.
I love that you've shared this because I am in the same situation that you're in. I have experienced major weight loss in the past and then gained it all back and had a big formidable chunk of weight loss to have, like to take off. Thank you so much for sharing that, because some people think, you know, I don't want to put my hope or my trust in the fact that I could keep off weight loss. Like I've done it. I've done the yo-yo dieting where I've, you know, lost a major amount of weight, but then I've gained it all back. A lot of us have experienced that.
Now, if you're worried about the weight coming off slowly, that's okay, because remember, on keto, you're losing a lot of body fat. So sometimes it's not reflected on the scale, especially for women.
Yeah.
So just keep going, and we are, again, I know some people don't like this, but we're always going to encourage you, please stay off the scale. A lot of us have a really bad attachment to that scale, and it's only one number, and the best thing to do is to be taking pictures and measuring yourself as far as like with a tape measure, you know, measure your chest and your hips and your waist, your neck, your arms, and things like that. That's going to show you a lot more of what's going on than that number on the scale. That number on the scale can fluctuate by 5 pounds every single day.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you've gained or lost 5 pounds in a day. A lot of it is water weight and other things going on. Okay, next one is from Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
Ashley said, got up this morning, I jumped on the scale, and I'm done losing weight 100%. I do not want to be in an unhealthy range, which I never thought I would get close to anyways. So today marks the end of a little over a year-long weight loss journey, almost 120 pounds gone.
Wow.
No pills or supplements were used at any point in time, all done with food and exercise. Keep calm and keto on.
Wow, Ashley, that is fantastic. Way to go. And yeah, I think it is good for us to celebrate, like I did this, you know, with food and exercise. I did this one day at a time. It took a long time to do, but I did this. That success represents 50 choices a day, 24 hours a day until the weight came off. That's incredible.
Yeah. So proud of you. Now, if you don't want to lose weight, please don't get off of keto.
No.
Keto is a lifestyle. We don't use keto to lose weight. Weight loss is a positive result from keto, but keto is about a lifestyle change. It's about keeping out all the grains and the carbs and the disgusting sugars out of our body. And if you want to stop losing weight, start reversing your weight back up by adding in some more fat and some more protein until you get to that point where you're no longer losing weight. And then that's a great maintenance area. Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black so I can add a commercial later, and then we'll come back with all of our comments.
Did you buy your Valentine a gift yet?
I don't know what to get you.
You've still only got a week. I'm very excited that next Monday, I believe, is actual Valentine's Day. So we get to spend the morning of Valentine's Day together.
I just saw a comment from Wilma. I just wanted to address this. She said, can you use xanthan gum, Terra gum interchangeably, or do I have to buy both? Why or why not? Your channel is always so informative and helpful. I love you guys.
We love you too, Wilma.
So here's the thing. They're completely different thickeners. Now, Steve from Serious Keto has been doing some videos and stuff on different thickeners, and I'm going to let him kind of take the charge on it because I don't experiment with them as much. But they're completely different thickeners. I haven't messed with Terra gum too much outside of working with our mayonnaise and making ice cream. Now, I know that if you actually go over to Modernist Pantry, they actually have a blog post about that as well. And a lot of times they mix the two. And they say that one of the best results is to actually mix xanthan and Terra gum, but you really can't interchange them. Just like you can't interchange cognac gum and that kind of stuff. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first comment is from John.
Hey, John. He says, our results with the January BBB and E challenge are in. Yay. A day early, but we couldn't wait any longer. My wife, Pamela, lost 5.4 pounds and a total of 5.75 inches. I lost 8.4 pounds and a total of 6.75 inches. We measured neck, both arms, biceps and legs, thighs, chest, and waist areas. So happy that we embarked on this challenge with you guys. Hopefully this will spark us to get to our goal weight. That is incredible success. And really what we noticed and what I was so excited about is where the inches come off when you do a challenge like that. It's usually in problem areas that I'm nervous about, like heart attack areas. Like you lost a lot of just gut health, chest health, everything around your vital organs. And that's really where I want to see weight loss because it's health gain.
Right. So one thing I wanted to say to that, we did get some message from people like, I didn't lose any weight on BBBE. What's going on? Well, did you have redefinition of your body as Rachel did? Rachel never lost any weight, but she had complete, body recomposition and you saw her shape changing. The other thing I do want to mention, when you're doing BBBE, one thing that I'm starting to notice with a lot of people who are doing it, because it's kind of spreading out there and more people are doing it, is you've got to stay on top of your electrolytes. If you're not staying on top of your electrolytes, which a lot of people have a hard time on beef, butter, bacon, and egg because they're used to sweetened electrolytes. If you're not staying on top of your electrolytes, that is going to affect you. It could affect you where you're retaining more water. It could also affect you with regards to like your body just kind of coming into a stall because it's missing some of those electrolytes. So make sure you're staying on top of your electrolytes. And also, though Dr. Berry has talked about, eat as much as you want, as many times a day you want, that doesn't mean eat 7 meals a day. You're supposed to be eating a meal until you're comfortably full and then going to your next meal and not snacking in between. If you are eating 7, 8, 9 meals a day, or every half hour you're snacking on bacon and eggs,
you didn't get full enough.
You didn't get full enough, and you're not giving your body a chance to start working on the body fat. You still have to try to limit yourself to 2 or 3 meals a day, but you should be eating all of your macros in those meals. And if you really stick to beef, butter, bacon, and egg, I mean, if you go back to our old vlogs, you didn't see us eating 10 times a day. You saw us eating 1 or 2 meals a day, but we ate a lot of food.
Ate a lot.
And then in between our meals,
we were
satisfied. And if you stick to it, you will have results on it.
Yeah, you don't want to trade out a grazing behavior and just swap out the type of food you eat. The grazing behavior is not going to help you.
Yeah. Okay, next one is from Rickwin.
Hey.
He said, let me say that if you find any cast iron in a thrift store, no matter what the condition, buy it if it's affordable. You can clean and reseason a cast iron skillet or a Dutch oven. Yes, it is rare as a thrift store reseller will usually grab them as soon as they see them, as they go for good money on eBay. I have my grandmother's skillets and I use them every day.
Great advice.
And that was from last week, right? Somebody was asking about skillets, and cast iron is always going to be one of the best things you can buy. And once you get that thing seasoned properly, it really does become nonstick. The one thing about cast iron is, and I know this grosses a lot of people out, you can't wash it. You don't ever wash cast iron. You wipe it out. If you have like stuck on stuff, you put in some kosher salt and you scrub it with that. But the second you start using soap in there, you're ruining the non-stick part of cast iron.
Right.
Now, if you do find a cast iron like that, and he's talking about, if you find a rusty one, still buy it because it can be restored. You just bring it home, you take some like some Brillo pads or steel wool, you clean off all the rust, light coat of oil, upside down in your oven, bake that for about an hour, and then just keep doing that, and you can completely restore any cast iron. It's just solid metal. Even if it's rusted, you can restore it.
It's amazing that you can bring something like that back to life.
Yeah. Next one's from Peggy.
Hey Peggy, you are so right. We are not one number. I was at the doctor a few weeks ago. My LDL was 234. First question from the doctor, are you taking your prescription? I then asked, what is my HDL? 68. What are my triglycerides? He said 39. I then brought out a spreadsheet of all my numbers since 2012. I said, it is strange how my LDL was in range when I weighed 300 pounds. Since I lost 120 pounds, my LDL has risen in the last 2 years. He then asked how I lost the weight. Well, I did not say keto or carnivore, but I told him no sugar, no grains, and real whole food. He then said, keep it up.
I love that.
Everything about that is brilliant, including keeping all the data on yourself. Mm-hmm. How smart was that?
And here's the thing, is, some doctors don't want to hear the word keto. But when you start telling them, like, hey, I'm just not eating sugar, I'm not eating grains and that kind of stuff, most of them never have a problem with it.
Right.
But if you go in and say, well, how are you doing? I'm doing a keto, they don't even want to talk about all the other positive stuff. But I mean, that's why it's so important to be looking at all the different things. We're not one number. So if you look at like even our blood results, is our LDL high? Yes, but our triglycerides, everything else is very low. And when you take all of that into account, you look like, oh, they're like extremely healthy.
Yeah.
I saw a comment from Janice I wanted to put up real quick. She said, if you take Dr. Berry Minerals, electrolytes, and magnesium, is that overdoing it? Does Dr. Berry Minerals have everything in it? Dr. Berry's minerals from Keto Chow are a good start. That's where you're going to get a lot of your minerals in. But then a lot of times, depending on what your activity is, how your body is doing, you may or may not, but for me, I'm going to usually say probably, will have to add some more electrolytes in. A lot of it's going to depend on what is your diet. What kind of foods are you eating? Why am I not?
Oh, good night.
I'm trying to get rid of that. So that it really is dependent. Some people need a lot more electrolytes than others. For me, I find that I need to take a lot more magnesium, and I've been really learning that over the last few days, as no matter how much magnesium I get in me, I would experience cramping. Now, I've almost doubled the magnesium that I'm having, and then the cramping kind of went away. And I'm talking about cramping just like laying in bed and stuff.
Right.
But the Dr. Berry Minerals are a good start, but then we're usually going to have to add more stuff in. We're going to talk more about electrolytes in a little while. Next one is from, where is it? It's not showing up there. Oh, I have to turn this back on. Next one's from Peggy. Oh, we read that one.
We'll get it together in a minute. Thank you for your patience.
It was this one.
All
Next
right.
one's from Kendra.
Hey Kendra, even if something smells tempting, it doesn't taste the same. So true. Our tastes adjust. Sometimes I grieve the loss of the enjoyment of food that no longer tastes good. This must be replaced with the enjoyment of energy, new clothes, and the ability to travel. Wow, is that brilliant?
Yeah. And that actually relates to another comment that I'm going to put up in a second, but a lot of people do talk about like things don't taste that good on keto, hence the title of today's Keto on the Couch. And a lot of it comes down to salt and seasoning. So let's go to that other comment that I want to, where is it? I lost it. Maybe it's this next
24?
one.
Oh, okay.
No. So the next one's from Nicholas.
Hey, Nicholas.
Nicholas said, somewhere out there, no matter what, where you're at, someone is looking at you and thinking that you are at your goal weight.
Their goal weight.
Even at your heaviest, someone is looking at you with the envy, wishing that they could be where you are on your keto journey right now. I'm starting my keto journey all over again, but I'm looking forward to the process. This time, I'm being kind to myself. My journey is just that, my journey. It's more important that I am getting up every day with a good attitude and doing a little better than I did before.
Wow. Yes. I mean, you have to change your mindset, your thoughts, and like directing your, your thoughts towards the positive. That's not something that you can just ignore.
Yeah.
You have to get your mind in, think about like, I am good, I can do this, and say goodbye to your excuses.
Yeah, and that's a theme that we really accidentally have been focusing on this month. Our challenge this month is relationship issues. What are your commitment issues? What are your commitment issues? But everything keeps rolling back to you have to put you first. You have to put you first. Don't worry about what other people think. You have to just focus on your goals and just really feel like, you know what, I am more important. If somebody else is saying you're losing too much weight or why are you so heavy, just remember that you are the important person. Now, getting back to the seasoning of the food, because I don't know what happened to the other comment. It'll probably pop up in a little while.
It'll be like next.
I've seen a lot of messages from people like, I'm bored on keto, I'm bored on carnivore, meat is disgusting me, I'm missing the flavor, I'm finding that I'm craving something sweet at night and I don't understand what's going on. And keto and carnivore can be super flavorful, which is why I'm so happy that Anthony did the cooking for me the other day. Because if you want something flavor packed,
wow,
that was amazing. And it wasn't even from a keto channel, but it was completely keto and carnivore. And it really comes down to experimenting with different types of foods and seasoning. And the number one seasoning is salt. And what happens is we come from the standard American diet where they're like, you have to stop salt. You have to stop. Salt is bad for you. And it's not. Especially if you're on keto, your body is always craving salt. We are always sodium deficient. So you have to be adding more salt. You're not going to add too much salt to your diet. Kind of get out of your mind that we should be eating 2,500 milligrams and realize that the minimum should be somewhere probably around 3,500 to 4,500 milligrams a day and possibly even more. And so I did some searching, and if you go down below in the description, you're going to see a link to a Thomas DeLawler video. Also, a link to a blog post from Redmond, and they talk about the fact that the salt and sugar actually trigger some of the same places in our mind. And I'm also going to recommend a really good book called The Salt Fix, and it's actually mentioned in that blog post from Redmond. And the thing is that we've demonized the wrong white crystal. And a lot of times when you think you're craving sugar, you're actually craving salt. So if you're finding, hey, I need something sweet, try consuming a little bit of salt. And a lot of times it's going to get rid of that sweet craving because your body really just wants salt. You are always craving salt. So if you're finding that you are like bored on keto and carnivore, start incorporating spices. Add some little bit of garlic or pepper or the Redmond seasonings. Oh my gosh, all the Redmond seasonings, the smoked salts, all of those things are going to really amp up your flavor profiles.
Before we go to the next subject, can I just be the bad guy here and say, before we say we're bored on keto, can we also just add to that, are you bored of gaining health momentum?
I like that.
Are you bored of getting well? Because I'm not bored of getting well. I'm not bored of getting healthier. So sometimes I have to try a little harder to find the things. Like if I get in the lane, I'm keto. That's it. I have committed to this. Then I will find a way to add more flavor to it. It's funny. Today's Instagram post that I have is a thought that I think is actually pretty powerful and probably doesn't just speak to me, but hopefully speaks to other people as well. And that is, I cannot change behavior I keep excusing. If I have an excuse for this behavior, I can't change it because I keep giving sanctuary to it. So let's not excuse ourselves from staying committed to keto by saying, well, I'm bored with the flavors. Well, then I need to work a little bit harder on making them flavorful.
Yeah. Next one is from Phyllis.
Hey, Phyllis.
Can you drink too many electrolytes? Okay.
Your body will tell you when.
Technically, you can drink too many electrolytes. Technically. However, on keto, and again, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals. This is all based on what we've experienced ourselves and what we've learned from researching and watching actual doctors like Dr. Berry. technically you can overdose on electrolytes. If you're on keto or carnivore, the chances are so minimal. I mean, you would have to really, you'd have to consume like 10,000 milligrams a day of potassium. That's the one that you would probably overdo the most. And it's just almost impossible on keto. And again, we're not doctors, but because you're on keto, because your body doesn't have all the glycogen stores, it's constantly getting rid of them. So you're constantly peeing them out, and so I would not worry about it. Also, your body will just get rid of it on a regular basis. You know, we get a lot of things like, I have bathroom pyrotechnics, right? I have some diarrhea. I don't understand what's going on. That's one of three things usually. Either A, you're eating something that your body doesn't agree with. B, you're consuming too much fat. Or C, you probably have a lot of electrolytes or a lot of sodium, and your body is just getting rid of it. It's how your body deals with it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Same thing is if you have a lot of constipation, a lot of times that is because you don't have enough fat or enough electrolytes in your body. And that's just one cause. Again, not doctors, but your body will just get rid of them and tell you, hey, you've had enough.
Yeah.
Next one is from JJ.
Hey JJ, when I heard you say in the last video to stop counting net carbs, I started questioning. Then I watched this video and it makes perfect sense. Counting both net carbs and total carbs keeps you from indulging where you shouldn't. Y'all are amazing. Thank you. Thanks, JJ.
So this is something we talk a lot about, and I don't want to offend other keto influencers
Not
or
at all.
YouTubers or anything like that, but net carbs overall, just looking at net carbs is stupid. It's just stupid. It's a made up thing. It's not made up by the keto community. It's made up by the food industry. People started on Atkins years ago, and the food industry was like, hey, how can we get these people who are trying to limit their carbohydrates to eat our food? Oh, let's come up with something called net carbs. Since your body most of the time doesn't digest fiber and it doesn't digest sugar alcohols, you can take that stuff out. It's a made up thing. We need to be looking at total carbs. You can increase your total carbs, and it depends on where you're at in your keto journey. But if you're just completely looking at net carbs and not even paying attention to what kind of fiber are they adding in there, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You really need to know ingredients. You need to know what fibers is my body going to digest and which ones is it going to ignore. For example, acacia gum, great fiber. Your body is going to do nothing with that when it comes to digesting it. It actually helps promote other healthy things in your body. Soluble corn fiber, there's a chance your body's digesting that. That's why we say don't ever deduct that when you're looking at your net carbs. You're better off doing a total carb cap. And if you're insistent on doing net carbs, at least have a total carb cap. So if you say, I'm going to do 20 net carbs, say, I'm not going to have more than 30 total carbs, because that is going to set you up that if your body does digest some of the stuff, at least you're not allowing yourself to have too many extra things.
Yeah.
Next one's from Esther.
Hey, Esther.
She said, what do you use to calculate percent of fat and protein? I only have my online as a community. No one around me is keto, and I thank the Lord that I have all of you online.
Aww.
I do ranch on my chicken wings, and I have the smaller stainless steel cups for dressing too. I'm stuck at my weight for a year, and I'm ready to get more gone. I don't want anyone to have to take care of me.
Aw, we love you, Esther.
I hit the button too many times. So the best thing to use to track or to at least calculate your percent of protein and fat is going to be Chronometer. I like Chronometer the best because everything in there is verified. When you get into MyFitnessPal, anybody can add into there, and as soon as they add in there, it's there. There's nobody verifying it, and that allows people to make up numbers.
Right.
Whether they're doing it on purpose or by accident, they're doing it for their own use and not realizing that there's other people out there. And you'll see with like heavy whipping cream. You go into MyFitnessPal and all the heavy whipping creams that have it is 0.
Yeah.
You'll see things like erythritol, 0 total carbs, but it's not true.
You'll see a Zip Fizz, and some of them are 0, and some of them are 2, and it's the same even flavor,
right?
And it's got varying ones.
So even if you're not going to track all of your food, if you just need to know how much protein is in this, you go to Chronometer, you just type it in like this food, and it's gonna bring up everything that you need. Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black and come back with the Facebook comments.
I love you. Whether you realize it or not, I do. I love you. So you're already starting your day loved.
First comment is from Christy.
Hey, Christy, we started keto, very low carb, in November. My husband and I have both lost 50 pounds and are so excited. We both feel so much better. My sweet husband looks amazing. I, however, look deflated. I am so thankful because my blood sugar has normalized, and that is really why we are doing it. But the saggy, deflated skin is so disappointing. I have gone from a 24 to a 16 W, which is awesome, but there is so much just flappiness. Does anyone have tips to help? I still have another 50 pounds to lose, so much more to go on the journey. Christy, first of all, I'm so proud of you and your husband for sticking with this and experiencing success. And I don't want you to exchange like, I'm disappointed I'm at the current weight for a disappointment in how I look after I've lost this current weight. It's time to start checking on like how you want to dress. Maybe change some of the clothing that you're wearing to be more tighter in areas that you are concerned about your skin. I am always noticing that my arms, since I've lost weight, are, there's loose skin in there. I totally get that. And so you will see that I wear a lot of like tighter compression sleeves than maybe I would have worn pre-keto. I have changed the way I dress a little bit. So sometimes you need to go and explore the stores a little bit and try on some different clothes and styles that maybe you didn't try before to see if that can help with that.
I just saw this from Janet. Janet said, where is Chronometer and does it cost? Let's do this. Let's go over to, we're gonna pull up a new window. So you go to, there's a link down below, and this is Chronometer, and you can get Chronometer for free, or you can, if you use the link down below, I think it's like $35 for the year, and you get some extra benefits like being able to share recipes with other people and some different features like that, no ads, but you can get a free version. So use the link down below, but just, if you go over here, like for example, add food, if I wanna do, say, ground beef, 80-20. Okay, so now you have right here, it's gonna pull out the food. So like I always recommend using raw, and now I can just go in here. So 4-ounce serving, if I'm gonna eat a pound of it, that's 4 4-ounce servings. And now I can go up here and it's gonna tell me everything about that. So you can scroll down, that's got 90 grams of fat and 77 grams of protein in it.
Which is awesome.
And then you can log it in here. If you can go over here to like the food section, you can have all of these different recipes. You can create your own recipes, your own food, things like that.
But you can use the lookup portion, like the searching for what's in the food with the free version.
Yep.
If you like. So
I also wanted to mention this. So you were talking about clothing and things. One of the things you can do is go to Amazon, and if I can get rid of this thing right here so people can see. If you go to Amazon.com/2crazy/shop/2kk, you get to our Amazon store. And right here is all of the compression clothing that we like to use. And these are great things for shaping. You're not lying, you're shaping. You're kind of, as you're losing the weight, you're gonna have some loose skin, and there's nothing we can do about that. Over time, it will lessen. And as you go through, autophagy and things like that, some of that loose skin is gonna tighten up a little bit. But you have to look at, would you rather be really obese and unhealthy or deal with some loose skin?
I would rather have loose skin.
I'd rather have loose skin, and look at the only person who is seeing you completely naked is
you and your partner.
You and your spouse, you and your partner. So when you're out, if you don't want other people to see the loose, jiggly skin, wear some compression clothing. There's no shame in wearing Spanx and other things like that.
No, there's not.
Okay, so...
And if someone tries to shame you, then you're not my friend anymore.
Right.
Like, you don't get a say. If you're going to shame me for something, you don't get a say in my life.
And also, whenever you go to Amazon like that, if you go to our shop page, and we have all the different things that we like to buy on Amazon on that shop page, even if you click on that and then decide, like, I don't like that, but I want to use something else, you're still helping benefit the channel.
Thank you.
Next one's from Leslie.
Hey, Leslie. Debated on sharing, but thought it might help someone. Took time away from the proper human diet for several months. Taking care of an ailing parent, pressure from work, isolating myself from all positive things, including 2KK YouTube channel and this group. Anxiety and depression are real. I felt less guilty if I just buried my head in the sand and went through the motions of life, but I couldn't do it anymore though. I have returned to a keto nutrition plan since January 5th and have been binge watching 2KK since. Finally catching up today. Still caring for my parents and working nonstop, but planning foods in my day really helps stay on track. Thanks for giving me all the hope and encouragement to get me straight. Oh, Leslie,
I love that.
We love you. I'm so thankful for you. And no matter what is going on, whether you are having a pause period, don't pause on the community. Right? Like, we still need that no matter what is going on. You don't have to be like doing everything right in order for you to think to yourself, like, in order for me to have access to the community, I have to be all in for keto. And if I'm not doing something perfectly, then I need to withdraw and punish myself from community and having that access. We need encouragement. We need one another. And we are joyful that you are here no matter where you are in your keto journey.
Next one is from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Sarah said, okay, family, just finishing week 2 of carnivore. I am noticing now that anytime I eat, there is no satisfaction. This is the comment I was looking for. You know that this tasted so good feeling. Also, when I think about chewing meat, things like steak and chicken, I get nauseous. I'm not hungry, so my calories are way down, and I have to force myself to eat. Is there any insight? Will this fade with time, or should I alternate normal keto and carnivore every couple weeks?
I can totally answer this one. I think that we need to start seeking out new places to find that feeling of joy. This past weekend, I got away with Michelle, our daughter, and just met new Gordon setters, got out in nature, and
Did not come home with one, thank you.
I know, I'm so proud of myself. I met llamas. I got to learn about sheep and sheep raising. I just had so much joy that I can tell you, I was petting some dogs that were sweet as can be and holding some puppies, and I felt that moment of joy just flood me like I used to feel when I had an Oreo alone with myself, hiding that and feeling in, despair and having that moment of release. We just switched out the moment of release coming from a source of joy, like spending time together with family or being out in nature, for what we used to find in food.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, I think when it comes to just you want your food to give you that euphoria, try adding some spices and especially salt. Increase the salt. I'm telling you that it's a huge difference. But so many of us coming from the standard American diet are used to the only thing that is making our food taste good is sugar. Up the fat, up the salt. That's going to add lots of flavor. But as Rachel said, we need to really learn to not turn to food for that euphoric feeling, for that joy. Food is supposed to be there for us to live, okay? So let's eat to live instead of living to eat. And try not to get the joy out of just food. And think about it, even when you would eat cookies or cake or things that were sweet before, how much excitement do you really get out of it past the second or third or fourth bite, right? You get that euphoric feeling with the first or second bite, but by the end of it, that euphoric feeling kind of goes away. So just start looking in different areas for it. And also, the last thing before we move on, you don't have to do carnivore. Like there's no rule that says you have to do carnivore. For me, carnivore is not sustainable. For me, some people it is. I'm on the side of like ketovore, where I'm going to do mostly meat, add in a few vegetables, add in an occasional sweetener, add in an occasional keto chow, and I enjoy it that way. That for me is enjoyable and it's sustainable. Next one's from Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly.
She said, bizarre question for stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads. What have you been doing for lunch if your significant other takes all of your leftovers? It seems like the more I cook, the more he eats. Now I'm hungry. I had a keto chow for breakfast, but the only non-carby thing we have to eat in tonight's dinner and some eggs. Eggs aren't floating my boat today. I know this is gonna sound silly. I'd cook more.
Yeah.
I would cook more.
Make a bigger batch.
Make bigger batches. Have lots of different things prepared. Have some snacky kind of things prepared. Have some eggs prepared, hard-boiled eggs, some sausages, some hot dogs, some bacon. Have that stuff just kind of prepared. And I might have a conversation with your husband and say, hey, listen, I need some things available to me so that I can eat during the day when I don't have time to do some cooking, and maybe put some aside and label it. Like, just label it. This is my lunch, like you would do at work.
Well, and I was thinking that, like, you might want to help him pack for lunch so that you're determining, how much, like, you're sharing. Like, you're dividing it, you're making it equal. And yeah, I would pack it, put a little love note in there, and now it is a romantic gesture, but you're also helping to meal prep for the week and make sure that you have some too.
Kumi had a question, said, for couples, do both chronometer accounts need to be paid, or can just the main cook have a paid account and share recipes? So if you want to share recipes, they both have to be paid. Like Rachel and I each have a paid account. If you're just using it to look up macros, you could, and not need to track yourself, which is what we did for a long time.
Yeah.
We just used one. It wasn't until we really wanted to diary everything that we were doing and be able to look back. If you want to do that, then yeah, you both need a paid account if you want to share recipes. But what you could also do is just have one account. You can have everything in there, put the macros in, and maybe then write it down and then change it up.
I was going to say.
For the other person and write it down. So, but if you want to just share recipes between you and your spouse, yeah, you both need to have paid accounts.
There are some nice journals on Amazon that like help you to track so that you can write everything down.
Writing down journals.
I love journals.
Next one is from Jessica.
Hey, Jessica.
Jessica had this post up, said, this really resonated with me. Sometimes we need to have empathy for ourselves when it comes to changing our own habits. Don't spend too much time worrying about what you did wrong when you should be applauding yourself for what you're doing right.
So good.
And it was a little meme. It said, when babies take their first step and fall on their bottoms, we praise the first step. We don't criticize their fall. I think we adults could learn a lesson here. We spend more time criticizing our falls and not enough time applauding our small steps.
Will that preach or what? Like, that is so true. Have you ever talk to a toddler at the end of the day and be like, I am so disappointed in your progress. You should be further along in your journey than you are, young man or young lady. We would never do that, but we don't have that same grace for ourselves.
Yeah. A couple of comments I saw. Lady Smith said, does anybody know how to find the 2KK store on Amazon? Like we just showed you, there's also a link on our website. I need to put it down in the videos. I don't know if there's one there. I think it might be. But it's amazon.com/store/2KK. And that's where we always put everything that we're currently using. Sometimes I forget to add extra things in there, but I'm always updating it. The other one I saw was from D. Mary and said, I just deleted it. She wanted to know, do we encourage extended fasting? I think extended fasting is great. I like to change it up. I'm not really into doing a 72-hour fast every single month, but we have done and will continue to do extended fastings. It's a good way to just kind of take a break and reset yourself, especially if you find yourself starting to crave a lot of foods or overeating a lot of times. Sometimes extended fasting is just a good way to reset yourself. It's also great for autophagy. I
just like to make sure that you check your motivation for why are you doing that, because we don't want to create a binge and purge attitude where it's like, I'm going to eat a bunch of food and then now I regret and I'm going to punish myself by not eating anything. So I just want to make sure that, what is your motivation for an extended fast?
That is something that we see a lot, and that is the binge and purge mentality of, I went off of keto, so I'm going to get back onto keto by doing a 24, 48, or 72-hour fast. That's not the answer. Okay, the answer is the next morning, you get back up and you go back on keto and maybe do an extended fast later on. but try not to do this. I slipped up so I can't eat, because that's what got a lot of us into this situation to begin with.
Yeah.
Next one is from Holly.
Hey Holly, it is so very hard after years of starting my day with the scale not to step on it this morning. I have been keto since June 2019 and got within 2 pounds of goal weight as of April 2021. As workload and hours exploded, I let bad habits fall back in and stopped working out because something had to give with 60 plus work hour weeks. Over the past 8 months, I have put on 50 pounds of the 183 I had lost. As of January 15th, something finally triggered, probably seeing 200 pounds on the scale again, and I have cleaned out my pantry of all keto sweets and treats and have again made a monthly challenge for myself that I wrote down, prepped, and logged meals for the week ahead of time, upped my water intake, and am getting some walking in the best of my ability since workload and hours are still crazy.
That is awesome. I think those are great steps to take. And the reason I put it up there is because that's what I wanted to say is, if you're finding yourself in this stall, if you're finding yourself where maybe you've gained weight on keto, because you can gain weight on keto and carnivore, I like to say go back to the beginning. First of all, I think logging your food is great, because I think what happens is the more comfortable we get with keto and carnivore and ketovore, the more we start, maybe little extra things start finding their way back on our diet. When we first get started, we're all gung-ho.
Right.
And then we start adding some things back in, and we have like hidden carbs. We forget that heavy whipping cream has a carb in it. We forget that things multiply out. We start eating, as I did, 10 cloves of garlic a day, which means I was eating 10 carbs in garlic alone.
And being very offensive with his breath.
We start doing these little things, and if we maybe take a pause and start just tracking our food for just a week, I'm not a big tracker either, but if we start tracking and actually be realistic, we'll find a lot of times, oh, okay, we started letting ourselves slip.
Yeah.
But the other thing to do is go back to the beginning, look back to what was working back then, and maybe go back to that. Also, as we lose more weight, sometimes we have to cut back on the carbs a little bit more. You know, the more weight you lose, the harder it is to get to those last few pounds.
Something has always stuck in my mind since I started driving, and it was when I was learning how to drive, I would be very nervous of pulling out of a space where maybe like cars had parked next to me. And I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to pull back out again. And I can remember somebody saying to me, the wheels that got you in here will get you out. So just reverse what you were doing. Don't do a lot of touching, and you'll reverse out of this space safely. So if you're trying to pull out of bad behavior, the wheels that got you in here will get you out. So you're like, hey, I started adding too many, carbs. Maybe I started just counting net carbs and forgetting about total carbs. I've been adding too many keto treats. So just remove that. The things that got you in trouble will reverse that, and will get you out of it.
We have a super chat from SJ. Thank you
you
very much for the
SJ.
$4.99 super chat. Said, would y'all please wish my husband happy birthday?
What's his name?
We watch and love you too.
We do want to wish him happy birthday, but share his name with us, SJ. I'm going to be looking for it over here on the end auto scroll.
Okay. Next one is from Sabrina.
Hey, Sabrina.
How long can you keep the butter mayo in the fridge before needing to throw it out? Even though I made mine with bacon grease, I'm leery about the egg yolks. So one thing, remember when you're using the lemon juice or you're using apple cider vinegar, that helps preserve it a little bit. It kills bacteria. I'm going to tell you, usually I start looking at getting rid of it about 7 to 10 days after I make it, so that's why I don't make giant batches of it. You can go up to 2 weeks. Some of it, smell it, that kind of stuff, taste it. We are working with egg yolks, but just remember that the lemon juice will help preserve it a little bit. But it's just like jarred mayonnaise. A lot of times I think we open up a jar of mayonnaise and think like, oh, it was store-bought. There's usually a pretty quick expiration date on that once you open it up.
So, SJ's husband's name is Doug. So
Okay.
Can we sing happy birthday to Doug? Ready?
Happy birthday to
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Doug. Happy birthday to you. And many more. So many more, Doug, because SJ loves you. very much.
Next one's from Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Kathy said, I'm in ketosis. I follow my macros and I've hit a plateau. I've lost 36 pounds in 3 months.
Wow.
And now I gain and lose the same 1 to 2 pounds for a whole month. I'm stuck. Anyone been there, done that, and know the solution? Thanks in advance. As we were talking about before, I'd go back to the beginning, see what was working at the beginning, maybe try cutting down your carbs a little bit. If you're tracking net carbs, start tracking total carbs. Do a reset, do a 2 to 4 week reset, like a beef, butter, bacon, and egg, or carnivore, or, those kind of things. Also, make sure you're staying on top of your electrolytes. I think that's another thing that the longer we do keto, we start kind of laying, I don't need as many. Maybe we get lazy, we forget to take them. But when we first get started, we're gung-ho and everybody says electrolytes, so we stay on top of it. And I'm guilty of that too. I mean, I would go days without taking them and then go, why do I feel so crappy?
Well, we take time sometimes to check our relationship, right? Like where are we at? Do I need to, do better about making time to hang out with my children? What's my commitment level within my marriage? We take time to say, am I as committed as I was to being good and being present in this relationship as I was when this relationship started, right? And sometimes we're like, okay, I need to go back to really dating my partner. I really need to make time for my kids and not just let time go. Well, it's the same with your keto journey, right? Test your commitment. Are there some ways to, or reasons to tighten up your commitment in some place to get back to where you were when you started and you thought to yourself, I am all in because I want to see change.
Yeah. There's one more here. This one's from Christy.
Hey, Christy.
Christy said, it's important to know your why. It would be so easy to go back to the standard American diet. I've spent all my time free today making protein-sparing modified fast bread and other meats. I'm keeping it keto because I'm not as young as I used to be. When I slip and eat junk, I feel like junk. Benjamin is 3 weeks today. Josh is 19 months, and Sean is 16 years old. I'm losing fairly fast, but I'm more concerned about being healthy at the moment. I threw in a pic of me a month ago because I got huge during his last pregnancy, despite the fact that I was staying strict keto due to gestational diabetes. I'm a 40-year-old mom of 3, and I really want to be able to keep up with my boys. They're my why. So what is your why?
Wow, Christy. I mean, that puts it in perspective. Sometimes the only photograph that we have mentally for ourselves is that scale. Mm-hmm. It's just the dashboard of the scale. Is that the only photograph to keep me motivated? Because I think we need to start taping up pictures like Christy has in our bathroom above this where the scale is. Because that's what our real why is. Our why is not just chasing a number. Our why is chasing a life. Yeah. And that is one to be enjoyed.
Put pictures and words all over your house. If you walk throughout our entire house, you're going to see scripture posts, you're going to see little notes, things that remind us of what our why is, things that remind us to keep going, things that remind us, that, we're loved. And just sometimes we just need to see that. We can't just remember it. We need to see it. So we're always going to encourage you to do that.
Every heart behind us is a name of an immediate family member of ours. So that every single time we sit down and we talk about staying committed to what we're doing, we always have in our peripheral vision, not what we're missing out on, but who we are doing this for.
Yep. Let's get into some of the comments up here. So if you have questions or comments about keto, you can go ahead and start leaving them in the chat and we'll address them for the next 10 or so minutes. So there was one from D. Mary said, do you log collagen into Chronometer as protein? Does collagen powder count fully as protein? So if we're tracking stuff, if we want to know where is our day at, yes, we're going to put the collagen in there.
Every morsel of food.
It's not about protein. I just remember that collagen is not a complete protein, but I would still put it in there. Just make sure you're getting other protein. Don't be using collagen as your only source of protein. If you're using it just to have some collagen, great, but don't be going like, I need to increase my protein, I'm way low, and then do collagen, because that's not going to be enough. You should be getting a lot of your protein, a bulk of your protein from, your meat and things like that. Dr. Julie James said, I personally have to be careful with food so as to not wake up my old 20-year-old binge purge thinking that nasty, mean monster took years to put to sleep. Thanks to EFT, my relationship with Christ.
That's really great because, I have to constantly check my motivation. I really do. Why am I doing this? Like, I believe in fasting, but I have to just make sure that I have, it's for the right reason.
Mm-hmm. TJ said, we joke about forming a commune all the time, but seeking out community is work.
Yeah.
We all live in our own four walls and with 6-foot privacy fences, 80-unit apartment building, and people are still lonely.
It's so true. I was really glad that we went out with Anthony last week, right? Like, it's so nice to make friends and take time to have a meal together and enjoy one another's company and bring ourselves out of just like it being in our own heads, because it's a dangerous place. And whether you're a man or you're a woman, we need community, right? We can't just say like, well, I'm gonna adult so hard, or I've reached the age where isolation is okay. It's not okay. We all need to have community. So whether that is, joining a Zoom exercise group like Mary T has done, where you can see people face to face, or going out with friends, coming out to a keto meetup, it's so important. Chatting. I love when we start a live stream, there's already been a good time of fellowship going on in the chat before we even show up, and that's so important.
D. Mary wants to know what kind of content can be expected to become a channel member here. So yes, if you want to support Two Crazy Ketos, help us to be able to get to conferences and things like that, you can become a channel member down below or one of our Patreon members. As far as extra content, our channel members and our Patreon has a few extra perks, but our channel members and our Patreons basically get monthly, the higher channel members and all Patreons get a monthly Zoom live stream, which is actually going to be this Saturday. We'll be putting up a post later on this week, but it's going to be this Saturday. Normally it's the first Saturday of the month, but this month, Rachel was gone. Now we are working on doing something. Bronson's schedule kind of changed, so we're looking for something to replace that monthly call with Bronson. That was an extra little thing that we were throwing in there, and we're going to try to find something else we can do. And then we do priority access for comments. We do, what else do we do? There's the Fearless Friday is what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Fearless Friday.
I was like, what?
And then whenever I get ahead of doing our editing and stuff like that, we give priority access where you guys get to see a video before it's released to the public. But we don't do any videos themselves that are only available to channel members or only available to Patreon members. The only thing we might do is like maybe a bloopers kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we don't lock any of our content behind paywalls. We don't believe in that. The only extra thing would be the live stream. And that's just because you guys are helping support us. And sometimes if we have 300 people in a live stream, we can't answer your questions. And if you're helping support us, we want to give you that little extra. We also give all of our channel members a special email address, which I will repost that later on in the channel member area, where you guys can message us with questions and we try to answer them that way. Okay, X-Flyer said, I have a scale victory this morning.
Don't be sorry about that.
For the first time in 13 years, I'm under 200 pounds.
Wow.
For me, this is huge. I've been on keto for 10 months and wanted to lose the weight slowly. 70 pounds to go.
Way to go. Look at that cute Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
And Angeline said, I am not counting calories, carbs, etc. I'm doing this for better health as I'm getting older. I don't own a scale. I just go with how my clothes fit.
Wow. Okay, so that has taken me years to wrap my mind around something you're already doing, which is amazing. Great job with that.
Mary said, I recently looked back at my numbers during the weight loss phase. I thought I lost fast, but no, I initially lost 30, but then I was maybe losing 2 pounds a month. Not one gain in a year.
It adds up. It really, really adds up. And sometimes, if we're somebody that's prone to beating ourselves up over that continued struggle with just that 10 pounds, that just, I feel like you're gaining or you're losing, and you're really frustrated by that. Put up somewhere posted above where you have your weigh in, your initial weight. Because sometimes I am beating myself up about 2 or 3 pounds and not taking time to celebrate the 150 pounds that are gone. Yeah. Right?
Pam said, I have a birthday tomorrow, but I'm not very happy. I lost my mom yesterday.
Oh my gosh, Pam, Pam, I'm so sorry. Oh my gracious. I still want to sing happy birthday. Can we still take just a moment to celebrate you, Pam? I'm so sorry for your loss, but we do want to celebrate the fact that you're alive and here, and we're thankful for that. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pam. Happy birthday to you, and many more. We love you.
Luke said 4 weeks isn't a stall. See Amy Berger about this.
Yeah.
Yes, that is so true.
Amy Berger is like such a great writer. I love like all of her posts.
Yes, Ricklin makes a good point. Said this is a community for support. If you're looking for medical info, also look into Dr. Barry and Dr. Sivas. They have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and be specific when you're searching them. Like you can be like Dr. Barry and gallbladder, Dr. Barry and kidneys. Like, I mean, whatever you're dealing with, like, I mean, he probably has a video about it.
James, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Said keto has helped me feel healthier and younger, but I developed a zit on my nose. I didn't want to go that far back in time.
It does like totally weird you out when you think, okay, I'm too mature for some of these things. And yes, it's so funny you mentioned that, James, because when I was out with Michelle, I noticed like a little zit on my nose, and I thought the same thing. It was like, hey, I'm not 13, 14 anymore. I've lived past this time. Yeah. And yet it does renew your youth, but all of the youth kind of comes back too, even my silliness.
Yeah. Lady Deborah said,
hey, Lady Deborah.
I thought heavy whipping cream is 0 carb. It says so on the package. Are we being fooled again? Yes. So, okay, you're going to hear me say this a lot. If you're new to our channel,
hi. I
say this a lot. All heavy whipping cream has carbs. All, regardless of what the label says. What you need to start to learn is, if you're new to keto, there's rounding rules, and companies, if it's less than a carb, can round down to 0. And they're going to do that to get you to buy their product.
Right.
They also do it with calories. It's one of the reasons that you see things like 1.15 servings, you know.
And you're like, that's not a thing.
And the reason they do that is because they want to keep the calories low, because you're going to buy it. Because what do we look for? We look for, I want 100 calories or less in a snack. That's what the standard American diet does. So they manipulate the serving size to give you the numbers that they want you to purchase it on. And that's one of the things like I love in Europe. Europe has the serving size is a package or 100 grams. So there is no faking.
Leeway.
There's no leeway. And you don't get that here. So just understand that heavy whipping cream, it's like 0.4 carbs for an ounce, for a tablespoon. So if you're drinking an ounce, you're drinking almost a carb. An ounce would be 2 tablespoons. So if you're drinking, for example, with the Keto Chow, and that's why we mentioned that in our original review of Keto Chow 3 years ago, if you're using a Keto Chow with 4 ounces of heavy whipping cream, that's just over 3 carbs. In addition to any other carbs you're having throughout the day.
Yeah.
In addition to the carbs that are in the Keto Chow itself. So just the way I always tell you is, unless it's meat, figure every product you pick up, especially a packaged product, if it says 0 carb, count it as 1. It's not going to hurt you to count it as 1.
Well, and check the serving size on things, right? Because sometimes they'll wreck you with the serving size. I've picked up this same brand of tomato sauce and looked, and in one tomato sauce, it was 1/4 of a cup was a serving, and then the next jar in the same tomato sauce line was 1/2 a cup serving. So they're trying to manipulate it so that I will still purchase it. And it's the reason why these Weight Watchers apps and things don't work, because they're talking to me and I am a carb addict. So if you tell me something is 0 carbs or free, I'm going to lean on that product. It's why if you put into like a Weight Watchers app, because I've done this in the past, and say like, you know, hey, green peppers are free. That's free on my Weight Watchers plan. they're expecting one serving.
Right. I was just going to say that.
Free.
It's
not
like when you
that
see fruit.
unlimited is free. If you put in that I've had 4 or 5 or 6 servings of this free thing, you'll even start to see it show up.
Well, and that's the thing is, that's one of my big issues with the free stuff on Weight Watchers. And not to bash Weight Watchers, but they don't want you to lose weight. If you lose all your weight, you're not going to stay on their plan, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people say like, well, fruit is free on Weight Watchers. Yeah, 1 serving. But if you're going fruit is free and you're eating 50 servings a day, I'm telling you, you're going to gain weight. You're going to gain weight. That's why it doesn't work. There's nothing in life that's free. Nothing. Okay?
No free lunches.
Okay, only a couple more before we get off. But Gina has, not to start a boob conversation, but what kind of bra are you wearing? I think I might need one in my life.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I when we talk about skin issues and stuff, yes, I absolutely have ladies that like to stray in opposite directions. You know, we are dealing with gravity here, and I do get my bras from Victoria's Secret. I have found that Victoria's Secret just like they just make a good quality bra product, and I really like them.
And you get the one that's like the most help you can get.
Yeah.
And we buy them at the semi-annual sale when they're like 50 and 70%
But,
off.
you know, I'm not so concerned about like what color is in fashion right now. So like, I don't mind getting the clearance price. I also found that like Burlington Coat Factory, sometimes TJ Maxx or Marshalls, if you go, they can have better quality bras there at their store, and you get like a discounted price. So there's some other like name brands, fancy pants bras that you can get, and it, you know, if cost is an issue.
Yeah. So Janet said, how many carbs do you think we should count on heavy whipping cream? I always count it as 1.
Yeah.
1 per serving. So again, they're rounding down. I believe in rounding up. Now, some people disagree with me, but my thing is this. So if a serving of heavy whipping cream has 0.4 carbs and I count it as 1, and at the end of the day, I said to myself I had 10 carbs, but I only ate 5, who am I hurting?
Right.
Right? All I did was eat less carbs than I thought I did. But if I count it as 0 or 0.4, at the end of the day, I may have had more that I didn't realize, like spices. Like I never bother with spices as far as looking at the carbs, but I count every spice as 1 carb because a serving size is 1/4 teaspoon. And we almost never only use 1/4 teaspoon.
I see it is Tanya's birthday tomorrow. So can we sing happy birthday to Tanya?
Okay, you ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tanya. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Okay, a couple more. Louis said, I don't join many chats, but you guys make me want to join. No judgment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a very high compliment.
Okay. Yes, TJ said, ladies stray in different directions.
We do. There's a lot going on, and you know what? Instead of just feeling bad and saying like I'm out of control in my body and it frustrates me, I'm gonna take back control of my body and I will wear what I need to wear to feel confident and good about myself. And this is something that I preach all the time. Don't worry so much about what is in fashion right now and dress to your body. You know what looks good on you. So if, you know, I am very high-waisted. So when we have like the apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur, if we have like a time where low-rise jeans is in fashion, I'm buying high-rise jeans anyway because that's what my body looks like and that's what my body looks best in. So, you know, you got to kind of shop for your own style and don't worry about fitting in with what everybody else is wearing.
Okay, so Jenna said, so somebody, how many ounces in heavy whipping cream? I missed it, my phone rang and stopped the video. Again, so a tablespoon, 1 serving of heavy whipping cream has 0.4 carbs or like 0.3 something carbs. So I always count it as 1. So for example, if I put 4 ounces of heavy whipping cream into my keto chow, I now know I've had 4 carbs, even though it's like 3 point something because an ounce is 2 tablespoons, which would still be under a carb and they could still label it as 0. Yeah. But if I'm just having a tablespoon of it, like putting a tablespoon in my coffee, I count it as one.
Remember who's working for who. The companies that are producing packaged products are not working for you. That Honey Nut Cheerios bee that would swirl around grandpa and grandchild acting like, it was so concerned about grandpa's health. That honeybee is an animated character that does not care about grandpa. Okay, so we need to start being an advocate for ourselves. It's the same thing when you go to a gym. Why are they laying out donuts and pizza and having like these pizza and donut days at some of these gyms? Because they don't necessarily even want you to get better, right? They want you to keep being a client, and they will do what they need to do to keep you as a customer.
Okay, so Olivia has a great question. How do you count spices as one and still stay under 20 net a day? Am I keto stupid, or do I just overseason?
No, you're not keto stupid, you beautiful girl.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you watch our videos, I use a lot of spices, and I'm still under 20. And we look at total more. So I do 20 to 30 total. But I know this. When I make a recipe, my recipe, for example, most of my recipes use like a teaspoon of, carbs for the whole recipe. Unless you get into the chili where there's like 2 tablespoons of something. But that's being divided among a lot of things. And even with the amount of spice I add, we still don't get that high. If you're exceeding your carb limit only with spices, if you're doing carnivore or ketovore and you're not eating a bunch of processed products and you're exceeding it with spices, I wouldn't worry about that. The spices aren't our issue. The vegetables aren't our issue. It's all of the processed foods or overly processed packaged foods that we eat.
I just want to say one thing. Olivia DiPetrillo is actually Anthony's daughter that we got the privilege of hanging out with last week. Olivia, we love your dad so much. And one of the things that your dad said about you that I found to be absolutely true, looking at your wedding pictures, I'm so sorry we were creeping on you, was your dad said, your smile enters a room 10 minutes before you do, because you've just got such a glow and joy about you. And I have to say that is so true, girl. Like, we just love you so much. Sorry to like creep on your beautiful photos, but you're just a lovely human being. And thanks for sharing your dad with us last week. We really appreciate it.
So back to the spices things. Yeah, so, my thing is this. Let's say I sit down and I make a meal for Rachel and I put a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That would be really spicy, but I put a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in there. Now it's a carb in, the serving size is going to say 1/4 of a teaspoon and 0 carbs. So I'm going to round it up. But even there, I'm not really worried about it if those are the only carbs I'm having. It's like I don't bother counting carbs in eggs. There's just less than a carb in every egg. That's not my problem. If I eat 50 eggs in a day, I'm not worried about the fact that I just ate 50 carbs. It's the processed foods. Those are the things we need to work on. That's why we talk about having a cap, so that we don't overdo it. If you do a bunch of spices or some vegetables, and again, we talk about don't worry about like the fiber in things like, broccoli or asparagus. The fiber we need to worry about is the processed fibers. But if we're eating a lot of spices and we have one snack, we're fine. But you don't want to eat a whole bunch of snacks. A lot of people look at heavy whipping cream. That carb is from sugar. There's a difference between the carb that's in garlic and the carb that is in sugar.
So apparently 9 months ago, everybody's parents were getting busy during some year or another, because Patty also has a birthday this week. So we need to, before we go, we need to sing happy birthday to Patty. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Patty. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Keto Chow has been on for over 5 minutes, so we are going to get off. We thank everybody for joining us. Again, if you're a Patreon or a channel member, look for the post later on this week for details on this week's monthly live stream. And we will see everybody back here on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week, guys.
We love you.
Bye.